in Week 18 and a miss of the playoffs and a busy 2 hours ahead here on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. After a 28-20 loss to the Titans, the Jaguars missed the postseason, losing 5 of the last 6 games of the regular year. And now a look ahead to the future. We'll keep it real as always. Fanatics fan questions in the second hour. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco alongside Tony Boselli coming up. And, well, Pete, this is not what we were expecting about a month ago, and I don't even think this is what we were expecting going into Nashville last week, but it has happened. The Jaguars are out of the playoffs after losing 5 of 6. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing a lot better than that football team right now, I can tell you that. I mean, my gosh. JP, I'm astounded. When they were cruising along at, 8-3, we sat there and we said, oh, number 1 seed. They have a chance for the number 1 seed. And everything and anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I mean, if it wasn't for the Carolina Panthers, who are the worst team in the league, they might not have a victory.
Right.
That's how bad it fell off the ledge. So, look, as far as I'm concerned, JP, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year. So I was way off. When a team doesn't make the postseason and I pick them to win the Super Bowl, I was way off. I'm astounded. I have a lot of thoughts on the entire process, the team, everything, and where they are right now. And, I'm sure you've been active on Twitter. You've seen a lot of people. They're not happy in Jacksonville, nor should they be, by the way.
No, not at all. Tony Boselli, Pro Football Hall of Fame left tackle with us as well, Tony. And, hey, here we are the day after the season, and everybody's packed up and leaving.
Yeah, not the ending we expected, was it, boys? I mean, Pete, you were wrong. I had them going to the AFC title game, so I wasn't much more right than you. And, I mean, I think what you said, Pete's right. I mean, without that win against the worst team in the NFL, they very well could have lost 6 straight. And I think it's not just the losses, it's how they lost games. I mean, they beat themselves. It was a team that didn't make plays, turned the ball over, penalties, wasn't physical. Just disappointing. I mean, it's, 9-8 back-to-back winning seasons, but it sure doesn't feel like that right now.
No.
Oh, Tony, you're silver lining it. Back-to-back winning seasons. There's no silver lining of this season.
That's
0.
my point. Pete, I just said the same thing. Do you listen? I said, even though it's back-to-back winning seasons, after not having anything for decade plus outside of 2017, it doesn't feel that way. That's my whole point. It's so disappointing how this team finished, and really, I mean, how they played. And I think there's a lot of I'll say this, Pete, there's more questions than answers right now with this football team.
And there's a lot of blame to go around. There's a lot of blame. I mean, there really is. Across the board, blame. Players, coaches, front office, you name it. There's a lot of blame to go around. Because this shouldn't happen. This should not have happened. Or maybe we were misguided in thinking that they improved from last season. Maybe that was my mistake. I thought a lot of first, second, and third year players from last year would take the next step, and they clearly did not. They did not.
No, Pete, I think the biggest surprise to me was the lack of the jump that Trevor did not make. I was counting on Trevor making a big count. I was worried, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year. We talked about it in the offseason. I was worried by the lack of things they did in the offseason to get better. So they basically said, hey, we're going to stand pat. We're going to bet that the young guys get better. And we talked about that. It was a bet. They made it. But the biggest surprise to me was the Trevor didn't take the big jump. And the concern I had coming in with the interior 3 of that offensive line. I mean, you went in and with the center who struggled last year and was no different, maybe worse.
It was worse.
An aging right guard who's, still good in pass blocking, but, just doesn't have the power left. I mean, he's a great guy, good player. And think about it. They went into the season with betting Ben Barch, who I was hopeful, wasn't a believer at left guard. And the thing that ultimately hurt this team the most, in my opinion, is the utter lack of having the ability to run the ball. They were physically outmatched, and they couldn't get third and shorts. They couldn't get goal lines. And then the interior of the defensive line. I mean, the pass rush was pretty good by the edge. Josh Allen had a great year. Trayvon did some nice things as the year went on. But the interior three, early against average teams, they were okay. But they got pushed around. And they got pushed around on Sunday by the Tennessee Titans, who have a bad offensive line.
Yeah, and Tony, you mentioned physical play, physical toughness. That showed up a lot. But you know what showed up on Sunday too? When Spears had the ball, they're not very fast either.
Yeah, he burned them.
I mean, Jenkins moves in concrete. I mean, he was awful on Sunday. I mean, he didn't make plays. He took bad angles, and they just looked slow.
Pete, I'll say this. I'll give you credit. You said it early in the year. You thought Jenkins looked like he slowed down, and I defended him, and I was wrong. I think he's lost a step. But I don't think it's a particularly fast team.
No. In terms of defending them, you don't have to worry about their speed that much. No. And they don't ever throw, if it's not a deep ball, they don't ever throw the 20-yard in cut in the middle of the field, ever. I mean, it's the design of the offense isn't good. We get into all that. We can get into play calling. We can get into roster building. We can get into the quarterback not getting better. And in fairness to the quarterback, they beat the daylights out of that kid. And for whatever reason, he kept showing up to play. Maybe he shouldn't have showed up to play in some of those games because he's not the same guy. His mechanics have waned. He's sped up. And Tony, I'll give you one play that I watched the tape today, and you'll probably remember this. They ended up scoring on the drive. It was the last play of the third quarter. They run a stutter and go to Ridley on the goal line, down by the goal line, and he's not open, but he predetermined.
Zay Jones was wide open in the middle.
He never looked at it.
The thing that jumped out at me on the tape Sunday, and I think it several times, but Sunday was really eye-opening to me. It felt like several times Trevor predetermined where he was going with the ball.
Yes.
And there were opportunities. But I'll say this.
Don't get me wrong, there weren't a ton of opportunities down the field. There weren't.
Right.
I'm going to say this, Pete, though, but Trevor was impacted by the shoulder. You could see how the ball came out.
Yes,
I mean,
no doubt.
He was nowhere near 100%. I don't care what anyone says.
No, he was not. Even the touchdown pass he threw to Ingram was a lollipop compared to some of his other throws when he throws the football. That was not a great.
And he said today it was still very sore, so he's going to take a little time to get it right.
Yeah, you can see it. And credit to him for being a tough guy and playing through it. But again, you compound the poor interior offensive line play, the design of the offense, the inability to run in cuts into the middle of the field. I think he was sped up all season long, and then he was banged up because he took a beating. You add that all up, he wasn't the same quarterback. He didn't take the growth. He should be standing in there looking at Ridley, coming back into the middle of the field and firing a shot to Zay Jones for a touchdown. He didn't do it. That's not who he became this year, and that's why their offense struggled.
Well, how do you get it back next year is the question.
Hold on. But Pete, I don't think that's I think the main reason. I don't think we can talk about play calling and design. I don't think play callers trusted the offensive line to hold the ball and to run it. I think they had to gimmick everything up, and I think you saw it all year. And I go back to, and I know I'm a broken record. I know I'm biased, and I know everyone wants to talk about receivers and quarterbacks and everything else. This is a big person game. I mean, Pete, you've heard me say this.
You're not wrong, Tony. You're not wrong.
And I will go to the end of time saying you build inside out, front to back. Once you have a quarterback, you get big people. You physically control the line of scrimmage. And if you do that, you will win.
Yep.
More games than not. And we did not do that all year. And I think the picture painted in my mind that kind of tells the story of this team and the lack of ability to execute and must get, most situations where you need a yard or two, is 4th and 1 on the goal line. We have a chance to score and get a 2-point conversion to tie it up. And we run a quarterback sneak, and our center is getting run over 3 yards into the backfield, and our left guard is getting pushed back, and Trevor's trying to jump over, and there's no chance. And everyone says, well, he called it on his own. I don't care. If they hand it off, it's a loss of yardage. I mean, there it is right there, Pete.
Yeah, if he had gone to the left, though, he would have scored.
No.
Yeah, I think he would have. But
I watched the end
here nor there,
no.
I watched the tape today, too. I think he could have gone to the left and slid through a crease over there and scored. But you're right. The center got blown to smithereens.
Okay, do you see the guy underneath him who's getting driven back? Watch the last view. It's the left guard.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Tony, when you watch it from the end zone, I see the left guard get pushed back, but he had a little crack next to where the
left guard. Okay, there's Fortner getting run over, and there's the left guard. There's the left guard getting pushed back.
So here's a conversation.
Nowhere to go, Pete.
Yeah, hey guys, that's the 4th down play. What about the 3rd down play where they
that was a terrible call? That's just a bad call. Well, first off, if they had could they have reviewed the goal line? Because I don't think you could have moved it back up.
Spot.
It was a bad spot. But if the spot is correct, you go sneak, and you're in.
Yeah, I don't. My only thing is the reason they did not challenge it is they were afraid if they didn't get it, they lost another timeout. But I think it was a challengeable play. The 3rd down play, I did not like it.
Stupid.
But
Bad
here's
call.
the thing. It tells me the story. They don't think they can get in. They don't think they can push people. And guess what? Press is right. They can't. Just watch. Watch every game. Go back and watch all 17 games. And tell me when we controlled the line of scrimmage. Tell me when
I wouldn't be yelling out "press is right" too loudly these days around Jacksonville. By the way,
I don't care. I don't care. I'm telling you. Listen, Pete. You know me. I'm going to give you my opinion. What I think. I think football's won in the trenches.
I'm not going to deny that because I think if you're physical and you can dominate both trenches, and we can flip it to the defensive side because those guys got blocked by a bad offensive line.
They got blocked all day long.
I mean, you thought Fatukasi was going to be a run stuffer. He gets blocked all the time. Roy Robertson-Harris flashes at times. He gets moved at times, too, as much as he flashes. He makes those plays. Devon Hamilton has been a shell of himself since he came back. He got pushed all around. He started getting a little bit better as the season wore on, but he clearly was impacted by what happened to him. The linebackers, look, Aluakon's a good player, but he needs help. Lloyd had that little spurt where he looked like he was going to be a different player this year, and then he regressed. The last 7-8 games, he was bad.
Well, Pete, I'm not going to put too much on the linebackers in this game because they had linemen on top of them the entire game.
They were getting chopped. They were getting chopped a lot, too.
They were getting chopped, and their guys were on their faces, and the line was getting pushed back in their laps. I mean, it's hard to play linebacker like that. But I think we'll talk about it today. I mean, the big question is you have a bunch of free agents, you have a bunch of money tied up in a number of guys. And my opinion, you got to build both lines of scrimmage. That's all you have to invest. And you have big decisions to make this offseason. Josh Allen, huge decision. Calvin Ridley, do you give up a second rounder for Calvin Ridley? Because that's what you have to do if you sign him.
Well, you could tag him and then wait and sign him after that and then not give up the second round.
But if you tag him, does that count?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we'd have to look into that. But my point is, I mean, are you can't afford to pay Ridley what he would want and keep Kirk? Right now I'm picking Kirk over Ridley.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's come back in a moment. We've got plenty to get to. This is how this 2 hours is going to go. Yeah, a lot of decisions ahead. We'll get to some of them at least in the coming hour and 45 minutes that we have left on this show. Of course, in the second hour, Fanatics fan questions. We'll keep it real. We might be doing that for the whole 2 hours tonight. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. We are off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At Ameris Bank, we're with you. We asked our team what that means to them.
We're with you means we have a partnership.
It's a relationship. We're here for the long haul.
We have a solution for each and every person that chooses to bank with Ameris.
When you're starting your first checking account, starting your own business, buying a home.
Personally, commercially, corporately, whatever needs you have, we take great care of our customers.
We're with you.
We're with you.
We're with you.
Learn what it means for you at amerisbank.com/withyou. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
I stopped looking for juice and create juice. That's all I can say towards that. Instead of looking for a spark, be a spark. And I have to find ways to go out there and try to continue to spark people, spark players around me, coaches around me, just to better help the organization and help myself.
Travis Etienne Jr. in the locker room today. The postmortem after the Jaguars' loss to the Titans and a miss of the playoffs. The Jaguars dropped 5 of the last 6. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Tony Boselli and Pete Prisco recapping what the heck happened not only yesterday but this season. And let's continue this offensive discussion. We've got plenty on defense. We've got roster building and things ahead. We've got a whole 2 hours to get this done tonight. We've got Fanatics fan questions to some of that in the second hour. But on the offensive side of the ball, Doug Peterson was asked just a few moments ago about the play calling, if he considered taking things back at all from Press Taylor. He said nope, and talked about the job that Press did this year and getting the offense ready to go and calling the plays and stood by it. Yeah, he said, things could be better, certainly in certain areas and situations, but that doesn't seem to be a starting point, Pete, for them to make any changes.
Well, in fairness to Press Taylor, and I don't like the design of the offense, first and foremost. You know me, I say it all the time. But in fairness to him, it's hard to call plays when your hands tied behind your back because the offensive line has been so bad. So, and you don't have a real scare threat down the field for half the season. So I get it. I understand it. But I still don't like the play calling at times. I don't think they allow the quarterback to drive the ball into the middle of the field. Now, whether that's because of the offensive line or whatever. When do you ever see Evan Ingram going down the seam? You don't, do you?
No, I don't remember it. I really don't.
I mean, and he can do that. They don't do it. So I think some of that stuff needs to get fixed. You know, the run game is all, and Tony says this all the time, it's all movement instead of physically mauling people. And if you don't get to the second level, the linebacker's going to make a tackle. And if you don't get the right angle to get the linebacker, he's going to slide through and make a tackle. There were a couple plays on Sunday where if the backside tackle got to his guy and held his block, you would have had a decent gain in the run game. Not many, but there were a couple. And I think Tony says it all the time. The way they play offensive line is going to, you know, change. You don't have a physical nastiness about you the way they play it.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, I'm not disagreeing with your point. I mean, I don't love everything about the offense either, but let's start with the run game. Tell me what you want them to do. Tell me what, if you can't block people, if you can't sustain blocks, if you can't move people, and I'm not trying to pick on Fortner. He's a young player, but
well, you can pick on him. I mean, let's be real. He's a professional in his second season. He wasn't very good in the run game. You can pick on him.
When I say I'm not going to picking, I'm not picking on him. It is what it is. The film, you know, as we used to say, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. And when you don't finish blocks, you don't stay on blocks, you don't get to the next level, you don't push people, you don't displace people. Tell me what run attack people you want to run. You're limited.
And again, was that part of the when you go through the offseason status quo? He was going to get bigger and stronger, and he was going to be able to handle people and move them this year. It just
that didn't happen.
Right. So okay. Now you beg the question for moving forward next year. Can he be the starting center next year? He can't be.
I would be. He's gonna be in camp, but if you don't bring it, I mean, I'll give you my knee-jerk reaction, and I don't know anything who's in college and what the talent looks like and what's deep in the draft. I could argue your first, second, third, and fourth rounder are a combination of offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen, and interior defensive linemen.
I'm with you.
All big people. I mean,
I'm with you.
Maybe
they do They do have to find a receiver or two, Tony, with some speed.
I was gonna say,
Pete, I don't care. You can go have the fastest guy ever if you can't block anybody.
No, I get it, but at some point, say you draft two offensive linemen, sign one in free agency, a guy that can come in and compete, and then get a receiver at some point. You need a receiver. They need speed. They're slow.
I'm not disagreeing. You don't need a receiver, but it starts up front.
You know what would have been two spots that would have been decent receiver picks or offensive lineman picks? The second or third round from this year's draft. Or how about the Chad Muma pick? There you go. It'd be nice to have those guys. And here's the thing. Okay, Tony, let's talk about the guard that got hurt, the young kid from Appalachian State that got hurt early in the season.
Cooper Hodges.
Is he a big physical guy?
He's bigger. He's wide, but I mean, listen. And he had a nice camp, and he was popular because he ran around and did cartwheels and all that.
Right.
But he's basically a rookie again next year from Appalachian State. I'm not hanging my hat on and saying, "Hey, here's the starting job." Like we tried that 2 years in a row, giving the job to Ben Barch. How'd that work out?
That's right.
Give me an idea. Okay, like for example, we'll look at the good teams and their offensive like the 49ers offensive line. You look at it on the paper, the guards are just okay, but they're physical.
They're big people that go downhill. They're strong.
You know, like Laken Tomlinson was a reject at one point. The 49ers got him. He got into their system. Big physical guy, played well. The Jets signed him. And he goes into their system, and he's not the same player. He just does. There's something about an organization's mentality too, Tony. You got to admit that physical net. Like the Titans have a terrible offensive line, but they got physical on Sunday with Jacksonville.
No, they did. They did. I mean, I think it's a couple things. One, you have to decide how do you want to play offense, and you can still be physical and spread people out. I mean, the Eagles last year were dang physical and spread everyone out. I mean, so you can do both. So, I mean, ultimately that's Doug and Press saying, okay, this is the style of offense we want to play. But if you want to be an inside-outside run team, you have to have guys who put their hand in the dirt and come off the ball and move people and get to the next level. And you have to have a back who's a one-cut back.
Yeah, and it's funny, Tony, you mentioned the Eagles because they came from the Eagles, at least, Press and Doug did. And you sit there and you say, okay, well, you get a center like Kelsey. Now, Kelsey's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. But when you look at how he's built and how Fortner's built, they're not even close to being the same type of player in that system. But
not only that, overall strength, physicality.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
It is a mindset. You have to make your mind up and saying, we are going to move people. And I don't know if it's because they just don't feel like they have the personnel to do it, if they're not strong enough. But we're not big up front.
On either side of the ball.
No, we're not big. Like, Cam is a big man.
Big man. And the rookie's a pretty big man, too. He's a little lean. He's lean, but he's a big man. But his run blocking has been bad, by the way.
He's not big, Pete. He's a great athlete. He needs to get in that weight room and get stronger and bigger.
But he was a bad run blocker this year. Even getting to the next level and everything, he wasn't.
And I think he's going to be a good player. He's a rookie, but he needs to get bigger. Like, you've got to go get big men.
You need go get a college tackle who can't play tackle in the NFL and make him a power guard. Because you look at all that, remember Osemele, that when he played for the Ravens, Kelechi Osemele, college tackle, didn't have the foots to play tackle, but could move inside and play guard and maul people. But Marshall Yanda was a college tackle. He moved inside. Zach Martin, college tackle, moved inside. That's what they got to get. Two big maulers that can hold up in pass protection, give that quarterback a nice viewing lane into the middle of the field, and can maul people in the run game. They don't have that right now. Well, Cleveland's an athlete, but he had a rough go of it on Sunday too, Tony.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking, and here's the other mentality we have to have. As an organization, you can't get comfortable. Like, every job's open. Like, you got to try to upgrade everywhere. And so I'm looking at the whole offensive line. I'm starting with interior 3. But you better go find a veteran center in free agency or go draft one early.
Yeah. And there are some good centers in the draft. The kid from Georgia is a pretty good center. He's available. But again, get the center, draft college tackles who can move in and be physical guards if you can't find a good guard, because those guys now, they play passive tab, so it's hard to evaluate them on the next level.
Yeah, it is.
But get bigger. And defensively, when you watch it, Roy Robertson Harris looks little when he's playing. He's not a big physical guy. Hamilton hasn't been the same guy, and Fotokasi looks like he plays soft.
I'll tell you what, let's come back. We'll get into the defensive side a little bit more and follow that thought, Pete. And then the second hour, of course, we'll have Fanatics fan questions. We'll keep it real, as we always do. Plenty to discuss the day after a Jaguars loss to miss the playoffs. After an 8-3 start, they dropped 5 of the last 6, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
If you're facing cancer, you want a dedicated team working for you. At Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, we only focus on cancer. And we partner with one of the largest cancer centers in the world. So you'll have a specialized treatment plan created by our experienced and highly trained oncologists and surgeons, collaborating with one of the country's leading cancer centers. Best of all, we're in North Florida with locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Appointments at baptistmdanderson.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Like you said, processing, giving it time. I think overall it's tough to deal with in the moment. You hope for that you learn something from it and that it grows you.
It's Andre Cisco in the locker room today trying to process what happened yesterday for the Jaguars in a loss to the Titans 28-20. The season is over. The Jaguars, for a 3-hour stretch after the Week 12 win, were the number one seed in the AFC and had a 96% chance to make the playoffs. They then dropped 5 of the last 6, and here we are. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco and Pro Football Hall of Fame left tackle Tony Boselli. That gets us into the defensive talk, Pete. And yeah, you started it last segment, that defensive line, the interior part of it. We'll get to Josh Allen coming up in just a little bit in his offseason ahead. That's a totally different conversation. But it starts there, and then that gives the linebackers room to maneuver. And then there's the secondary yesterday trying to chase down Derrick Henry with a full head of speed.
Yeah, and yesterday was a bad game for that defense, period. It was just a bad performance. That's not a good offense. That offense stinks. And Derrick Henry, what do you have the week before? 10 yards?
If that, yeah.
Rushing?
It was nothing. It was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and they let him look like old Derrick Henry. And that just gaps, cracks, creases, bad tackling, bad angles. It was, and then when Spears had the ball, he looked like he was shot out of a cannon every time he touched it.
Henry had 42 yards the week before against Houston on 12 carries.
Yeah, they're not big. They get blocked. The linebackers haven't been good. Aluakon's played well this year, but he needs more help from Devin Lloyd, and we thought we saw it early in the season. That went away. And Jenkins had a bad year. He doesn't. I think he's done. And Cisco, after his injury, he wasn't the same player. So you add it all up, it's not a great defense. Aside from Josh Allen, and by the way, there was improvement from Trayvon Walker. Nobody's ever going to take that away from him. He has improved as a football player. And we weren't on the air last week. I got into it with some Jaguar fans about Trayvon Walker.
Yeah.
His sack came in as a 3-technique rusher. The other one came when he got blocked and made a play to get off the block and go tackle the guy for a yard loss. He didn't win. He wasn't winning consistently enough as an edge rusher. He would be a dominant 3-technique player. I really believe that. Like one of those guys that would get pressure from the interior with the power and the quick step there. He's just not an edge rusher. That's not what he is. But they're going to be stubborn enough to sit there and continue to say he is.
Yeah, Pete, I agree with you. I mean, if you look at defensively, the team was 8-3, and then they gave up 34 to Cincinnati, backup quarterback, 31 to Cleveland, third-string quarterback, 23 to Ravens.
Ran all over them.
Who ran all over them, 30 to Baker Mayfield, and then 28 to Ryan Tannehill.
And Henry, yep.
If you go through those games too, Tony, there's a common theme throughout those games. Poor tackling, busts. Poor tackling, busts. Almost every one there was major busts, whether it's a run bust, a run fit, or a wide open receiver. Assignment football was not played on defense in the second half of the season.
Yeah, how many times do we hear the word communication and lack of that on defense this year? They even today in the locker room kept bringing that up, and Doug Peterson in his press conference.
Unacceptable.
Well, okay, but who's that on?
It's on both coaches and players.
Correct.
I say all the time, Pete. Coach's job is to teach players a system that they can go out and execute at a high level and fast and play fast. Players' job is to study and understand what they're asked to do. And the coach needs to understand if he's giving them too much and they can't comprehend it, then you better take stuff out and make it simpler.
Like you saw on the Henry touchdown run, Fodakasi came on the sidelines and got into it with Buckner, I think. And then another.
He got blocked. He got reached and pushed.
And I know, but was he supposed to fill that gap and Lloyd was supposed to?
He was in his gap. He got reached and blown out the ball, and he put Devin Lloyd in no man's land.
Right. He had to pick one side or the other. He picked the wrong side and he went out the other side. I get it. But again, their mistakes are magnified by the fact that they're not physical enough up front. You know, Tony, you've been played against good defensive lines where if a guy got out of it, had a bad run fit, somebody was physical enough to win theirs and cover for him.
Well, I always, those great Ravens defenses, I mean, they set the all-time record, historic defense in 2000, but they were good in 99, 98 too, let's not forget. Defensively, they weren't the 2000 year. And everyone used to talk about how great Ray Lewis was, and he's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest linebackers ever. And people would say, is he really tough? I'm like, I have no idea. Half the time we can't get to him because you got Sam Adams and Tony Saragusa taking up so much dang space, and you can't move those two human beings.
And you know what's funny, Tony, is we've gotten away from that because everybody thinks the 2-down defensive lineman is a waste. When the reality is, if you stop the run, the 3rd down becomes even that much more to your advantage. I think Jacksonville needs to find big power players on defense.
Pete, it works pretty well for Baltimore.
And with Pierce, yeah, but Matabuke is more of a he's more of the field guy.
They have like three guys who are just huge human beings.
Let me ask you this. This is just a hypothetical out there. If the team had added Calais Campbell and Jadeveon Clowney, would they have been a better defense? Because they're not. I mean, they're neither one of them is Calais is a power player, but and Clowney plays power football too.
I think. I mean, Calais was going to be limited, and I mean, if you watch what he did with Atlanta, he was on a pitch count.
Correct.
I mean, as he should be, 16 years in the NFL or whatever it is. I think Clowney helps him for sure. I mean, because he's a physical, disruptive player.
But the Ravens are the #1 defense in the league. They added Clowney in September and Van Noy in October. Right. I mean, and Pierce was an addition because he opted out that 1 year, and I mean, you go across the board, and there's guys like that all over that roster.
Hey, they had Clowney in, remember? So why didn't that work out? Why didn't it work out?
Well, in large
question.
part because I think Trent doesn't like giving up compensatory picks. And that's all well and good when you're like if we're adding guys in free agency or whatever, that's all well and good. But if your compensatory picks are guys that aren't playing or drafted the second and third round over the last couple of years, I mean, he drafted a running back and a tight end to be amp up the offense, and neither one amped up anything. They're bad picks right now.
Well, I mean, Pete, you look at this year. I mean, this draft. No, I think it's always too early to measure a draft after just 1 year. But you only got production out of one player, really.
The right tackle.
Right tackle. Now, Antonio Johnson came on late.
Yeah.
And he'll be a starting safety next year.
Good player. But your second and third rounders were non-factors this year.
The linebacker, because he can't stop drafting linebackers that he picked in the 5th round, got hurt. I mean, the
defensive end out of Louisville has been on IR the whole. I mean, not IR, inactive all year.
Right, and if you can't take Chason's job, then clearly there's something wrong with you. They put a lot of thought into bringing back Smoot to kind of fix things, and he's not the same player he was.
Nope.
I mean, there were just too many bad decisions being made, and you know what? Probably part of me was blinded to that when I picked him to go to the Super Bowl because I thought the quarterback would take that step and kind of erase some of that, you know? And plus, we made assumptions that some of those guys were going to take the next step, Tony.
But Pete, the way this defense played down the stretch is how I thought they'd play all year. I was betting on the offense being much better.
Yeah.
And I thought they could overcome the I don't know if I would have said a weakness, but a average to below average interior because of the quarterback in the skill set that they had at the skill positions.
I thought they were going to push to score 500 points.
I thought they were going to score a lot more points.
Yeah, they were talking about 30 points per game.
Right, by the way, JP.
What's that?
We got to give Tony credit. He said 25.5 sacks for those two.
Yeah.
And he got them. And by the way, when he said that, I said if they get 25.5 sacks, they will definitely be playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
They got 27.5. But here's the interesting, Pete. Those two guys got 27.5. The rest of the team had 12.5.
It's not enough. Hey, let's come back. We'll get into Josh Allen when we return. A Microsoft question of the day right around the corner. In addition, on the final show of this season, if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Brooks Rehabilitation is hiring nurses who want to be empowered as advocates, educators, care coordinators, and leaders in exceptional patient care. They have open RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Join their nationally recognized team, where you'll serve as a central team member doing what you do best, providing exceptional patient care. Apply at careers.brooksrehab.org.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguars regular season at Firehouse Subs. Get 2 medium subs for just $10 after any game when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Sign up at firehousesubs.com/field-goals for Firehouse for offer details and to automatically receive this offer when you use your Firehouse Subs rewards account. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available on the Firehouse Subs app and online ordering.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy?
Plus, when you buy or lease from Land Rover Jacksonville, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, our cafe, and much more, all at no charge.
It's time for sunshine and summer showers, so it's more important than ever to make sure you call Crystal Clean for all your waterproofing needs. Waterproofing can extend the life of your building by keeping water outside where it belongs. And that Florida sun can beat up your business's paint job. Crystal Clean's painting services can bring your building back to life. From waterproofing to painting, schedule Crystal Clean today. Call 904-220-3337 or go to crystalclean.com. You don't have to worry when it's crystal clean.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
I just take football. My agent does all that type of negotiating. We'll talk when we need to talk, but at this time right now, I'm worried about getting my body back right, spending time with my family, and keep focusing on what I'm going to do next year.
Josh Allen today in the locker room the day after the end of the regular season, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Monday, final show for us here in the 2023 season. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, and Tony Boselli. And Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Time for the Microsoft question of the day. How did the Jaguars handle the Josh Allen contract situation this offseason?
You got to pay him.
Or tag him.
Yeah, you got to make sure he's on the roster. I mean, let me tell you what's not a good idea. When you're lacking a lot of talent, is letting your best defensive player walk.
Correct. You can't, and it's not like he's an older defensive player. He's still relatively young.
Relatively, he's like 26.
Well, relative by NFL standards, relative. By life standards, he's very young.
Yeah, he'll be 27 next football season.
I mean, you got to keep him.
You have no choice.
What's he going to command, Pete?
Well, I mean, you start with what's Montez Sweat? What did Montez Sweat get? And then he's had more productive year than Montez Sweat. So I think, where do you rank him in terms of the elite pass rushers? He's not T.J. Watt. He's not Myles Garrett. But his season says he is.
What does T.J. Watt get?
He ain't getting T.J. Watt money.
I'm just asking. That's why
I'll tell you. What do you think? I mean,
Montez Sweat got 4 years, $98 million.
Yeah, I think you're paying him between 23 to 25.
Top defensive end Nick Bosa has 34 a year. He ain't getting that.
No, I think it's
Garrett's 25, Sweat's 24 and a half.
I bet he's in the 25.
Crosby and Hendrickson are 23 and 21. So yeah, he'll probably get 24 to 25, 26.
Maybe 26. He's better than Henderson.
Hendrickson had a great year though.
Oh, when I say better, Henderson's a very good player. I'm not sliding Hendrickson.
No, he'll get that, and you got to find a way to keep him. There's no doubt about that. You have to find a way to keep him.
Well, here's the thing. You thought you'd have to pay Trevor this year.
You don't.
You don't pay Trevor this year.
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
I love him. I'm not in the camp of half our fan base who thinks
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. He's a franchise quarterback. He's going to be a superstar still. I believe that with everything.
He's developed some bad habits.
He'll fix it. I have full confidence.
Well, if you have full confidence, why don't you pay him and pay the cheaper number now?
You don't have to.
Okay. Why do I have to? By the way, I don't have to pay him for 3 years if I don't want to.
Right, but the money's going to only go up, right?
Guess what else goes up, JP? The salary cap.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, okay. You clean out money. Sheriff's gone. You're cleaning out 14. You save $14 million by releasing Sheriff. You save $9 by releasing Fodakasi. Gone.
Are you renegotiating Cam Robinson?
You'd probably try to because his cap number is $21 million.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I didn't. If you had asked me before the season, is Cam going to be a Jaguar in 2024?
You'd have said no.
You got to bring him back.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I was on the opposite side of that in a big way. Remember?
Yeah, you have to bring him back.
Zay Jones, $6 million to save. See ya. Roy Robertson Harris, you save $11.7 million to get rid of Roy Robertson Harris.
How much?
11.7.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Zay.
Yeah, at some point you need receivers. If Ridley is here,
actually, I saved 6.9. I'm sorry,
Pete. I think you're wrong about Zay.
You keep him.
Zay healthy. He does things that. I mean, maybe you renegotiate it, push some money out, extend him a year or two, but I'm not getting rid of Zay.
What do you do with Darius Williams?
He was your best corner.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to renegotiate him probably. You save $10 million by letting him go, but maybe renegotiate that.
How old is Darius now?
He's 30. Going to be 31 next year, I think.
Okay, here's your savings on guys. Ready?
Yeah.
You save 17 on Cam, so you might want to redo that deal. You got to restructure that. That $21 million cap hit for him is high. $9 million for Sheriff, he's gone. $7 million for Luakon. You can't get rid of him, can you? You probably try it. You can't.
Pete, isn't that why you drafted Muma and Devin Lloyd back?
Of course, that's why. Fodakasi, you save $3.5 million. Goodbye. Rayshon Jenkins, you save $5 million. See ya. I'm just going down so some of the guys they could get rid of. That's about it for guys they could get rid of, though.
That's a lot of holes to fill, Pete.
You don't save that much money by getting rid of the other guys, though.
I mean,
it's a lot of holes to fill, but you can't pay those guys if you're going to bring Josh Allen back at a big number.
Yeah, right.
They're going to have to try and redo some of those deals.
Right, that's the point. You can't get rid of all those guys.
But okay, hold on. Rayshon, Antonio Johnson is going to take that spot.
Easy out.
Fodakasi, love him, nice guy, but I mean, he's not producing.
He's not worth that money.
You're not any better with him. How much do you say with Roy? You say
11 something, wasn't it?
No, actually, you don't because they redid his deal. Remember?
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be back. Cam, you probably can redo.
Fodakasi's gone. Rayshon Jenkins is gone. You're going to have to redo Kirk's deal. His cap hits $24 million.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, but here's the math you got to do. Or here's what you got to decide, Pete. You can't bring Kirk. How much? If you just let Kirk go, how much do you save?
You only save $2 million.
Yeah, he's here.
Like you can't pay Kirk and Ridley.
No.
What's Ridley going to command?
I mean, what about the tight end? He's got to come back, right?
He just signed a new deal, remember?
Right. Yeah, but and his deal isn't his cap number is only $7 million. So
yeah.
No, but here's the thing with Ridley, and I listen. He has a skill set that helps the team, no doubt about it. The stat that jumped out at me yesterday, Pete. You know that was his only second year in his career to have over 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't played a lot of years either.
Hurt.
The year before he started taking time off and all that and got in trouble. He was a 1,000-yard receiver that year. He was actually moving to being the number one wide receiver on that team. What was that? 2020.
No, I was just surprised. I mean,
Well, I mean, okay, from what you've seen of him, and you saw the two big plays, he should have caught the one. I mean, it wasn't a great throw. Trevor had time to make that a better throw, but he still could have. He still should have laid out to catch the ball. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see him lay out. It would have been an amazing catch if he catches it.
Correct. It wasn't a great throw. He was off his back foot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great throw. But the one into the middle of the field, I mean, looked like big time NFL receiver on that play.
But Pete, is he a number one?
No, he's not.
I mean, he's not A.J. Brown. He's not
Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not.
Question.
Yeah.
Would you take him or T. Higgins?
Is T. Higgins a one?
I'm not saying either's a one. I'm just asking. Or is that a similar skill set?
Similar.
All right,
One's
guys.
bigger.
Let's come back. Second hour. We've got plenty to discuss on the second half of this show, including Fanatics fan questions. And if we haven't already, we'll keep it real. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Taylor Doll here for Renewal by Anderson. Upgrade your home with a winning combination of style and performance. For a limited time, get 20% off of every window, 20% off all patio doors, and 20% off of installation. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Offer expires October 31st. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, proud to be the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at jaguars.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit jaguars.com/shadows. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Think about the year and the opportunities that we missed, and you win those games. We're not in that position yesterday, but it all comes down to week 18, and we control if we get into the playoffs and we're not able to deliver. So that's disappointing. like I said after the game, still need some more time to reflect and think about everything. And there's been a lot of lessons learned this year, individually, as a team, as an organization, just things that, we can do better moving forward, things that I can do better. I know I need to play better consistently. So yeah, those things are disappointing, but I know we're gonna be better for it. I have no doubt about that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep coming back, and we're gonna learn from this, and it's gonna make us better. It's gonna prepare us for what's to come, and it's just part of our story, and it's hard to accept that right now.
That is the quarterback, of course, Trevor Lawrence, in the locker room today, the day after the end of the 2023 regular season. And welcome back. It's hour 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco, recapping a Jaguars loss to the Titans. 28-20 the final score. And the end of the regular season, the Jaguars dropped 5 of their last 6 games and missed the playoffs. After an 8-3 start, they flirted with the number 1 seed after Week 12 for a week or so. Had a 96% chance of making the playoffs after Week 12, and they missed. So questions now about the collapse, how it disintegrated, and the path moving forward. That all will be decided in the coming weeks in the postmortem for the front office and the coaching staff. Quarterback play is part of that. Defense, a big part of that, especially in the second half of the season. And plenty of pending free agents, including Josh Allen and Calvin Ridley, to figure things out with. And that's where we are, Tony and Pete. And you got a long offseason to try to answer some of these questions, and the question list is long, really long, Tony.
I want to go back to the Ridley conversation real quick because we had to wrap it up. Pete, do you bring him back?
Depends what the money is and how I can, if I can finagle the mechanism so I don't give up. If I'm giving up a 2, I'm not bringing him back.
That's my point. I don't think. And listen, do I want Ridley on the team? Yes. Do I think he's a good player? Yes. But the money you're going to have to pay him, I believe, plus giving up a second rounder, when you need to invest in big people, I don't think I would.
Would you give up the 4 for him?
You already gave up a 4th.
That's what I mean. Would you?
Yeah,
but you have to. If it's
you've already given him a 3rd because of play time.
Right.
Yes, I give him a 3. Like if I didn't have to,
would you pay him? Would you tag him if you could do that? Tag him and then pay him. See, that problem with that is you're going to need that tag for Josh Allen.
You got to save the tag for Josh, unless you can get a deal done, which is unlikely. I would have to go see what the receiver market is for a guy like Calvin. I assume his agent and he are going to want number 1 wide receiver money. And I'm just not going to.
He's not getting number 1 wide receiver money.
Like as a free agent, what does he get paid? Like I can see the Chiefs or someone like that giving him $18 a year or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think he's getting the elite money.
What is the elite money for receivers today?
Let me look at the top guys right now, as is. I mean, if Jefferson's going to get done this summer at least. That'll change the dynamic a little bit. Tyreek Hill's $30 million. He ain't getting that.
Ooh.
Devontae Adams, $28 million.
No.
Cooper Kupp, $26 million. A.J. Brown, 25. Stephon Diggs, 24. DK Metcalf, 24. Deebo Samuel, 23.9. Terry McLaurin, 23. So he's going to want that. That's what he's going to be targeting. He ain't worth that.
No. I just don't think. I mean, you have to prioritize, and it's nothing against Calvin. But if you're asking me, if you're asking me who am I going to pay? Am I going to pay Calvin Ridley 23 or Josh Allen 25? I'm paying Josh Allen.
Okay, on the surface right now, as we talk about this team, do you have any feeling that they will be a better team next year than they were this year?
To tell me what they do in free agency in the draft. They
clearly don't have a ton of money to spend in free agency. They got to take care of Josh Allen. If you tag him, that's going to take up a ton of your cap.
Yeah, but if you get a deal done, you can make it friendly for the earlier years.
Right, but if you don't get him done before free agency, then you got to tag him, and that takes up a bunch of your cap.
And Pete, I don't keep track of their exact cap space and how much the cap's going to go up. I mean, I know they have some accounting gymnastics they can do because they haven't pushed money out. They have one of the lowest, amount of money pushed forward. So there's some things they can do.
Okay, let's go through some of the guys. Okay, Kelsey's an unrestricted free agent. If he's going to play, he's going to go back to Philly. Listen, these are the free agents. Kevin Zeitler. He starts at Baltimore. He's a pretty good player, but Jonah Williams, Dwayne Brown, Tyron Smith, they don't need that. Jonah Williams, no. Aaron Brewer, you saw him play center. He's not any good. He's tiny. Lucas Patrick. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing on the market that uses Graham Glasgow, 31. You're going to pay him? There's nothing on the market that would excite them. Robert Hunt, but he's not an unrestricted free agent. So you're going to have to fix your offensive line in the draft, Tony. How tough is it? We've seen them come in and play, rookie centers. Some of them have done a nice job. Some of them have struggled. Creed Humphrey was outstanding as a rookie.
Baltimore rookie's pretty dang good. No, he's a second-year player. He's a rookie last year. He played well.
Yeah, and the center in New York kind of struggled this year, John Michael Schmitz, but he started. But, yeah, so let's just say it's a rookie center. Sheriff won't be here, so it would be the kid from App State. He'll be the right guard, maybe. The left guard, Cleveland, you're going to have to pay him to come back or something. He's an unrestricted free agent.
No, it's a tough, listen.
They're not going to be better than they were this year.
Well, that depends.
Well, they
Does
can
the quarterback take a big step?
Yeah.
But how's he going to take a big step with what around him? If Ridley's out the door, it's Kirk, Ingram, Zay, and where's the number one wide receiver in that group?
Listen, Pete.
I'm just playing. I'm playing realist.
You got to draft one of those too.
Pete, this is the problem when you don't get production. Like you draft a running back in the third round, you draft a tight end, a blocking tight end in the second round.
And by the way, that blocking tight end in the preseason, it looked like he was going to maul people. In the regular season, he didn't block anybody.
He's okay. But I guess my point is this, Pete. And maybe he has more pass game ability, but you don't need that with Evan Ingram. But, Luke Farrell. Is Bretton Strange, night and day better than Luke Farrell?
Well, he had a grand total of 35 receiving yards this year, so no.
Or blocking. I guess
you didn't need that.
And this goes to the philosophy. And this is why you got to hit in the draft. You can't build a team in free agency. You can't. And this team has missed in the draft for too long.
But here's the other thing. Why are you targeting those positions at that spot?
That's my point. Your second and third rounders have to be starters. They have to be productive.
Why are you drafting a back in the third round that when you don't need? That's not a need position. You draft a guy in the late round and hope you hit on him and he's a backup.
Why are you drafting a tight end? And this is not against Bretton Strange in the second round when you are deficient in the interior offensive line.
And they drafted a running back the year before,
Miller was taken in the fourth round when you already had three linebackers. You paid one, you drafted two, and you traded up to draft one in the first round. Tyler Lacey, what did he do? Did he do anything?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Parker Washington played because he had to. Braswell was hurt. That draft was it was non-producing in terms of what they did. Nothing. And then, it's just, you're right, Tony. They drafting big people. Trayvon Walker is a good football player. He's not an elite. When you compare his pressures to Hutchinson's, it's night and day. One can rush from the edge and one can't.
Well, Trayvon had 44, I think, pressures this year. Hutchinson had 100.
Right. Devin Lloyd, trading back into the first round hasn't been worth that.
Well, let me ask you a question, Pete. What'd they give up to go into the first round? Do we remember?
It was didn't they have a second? And they traded that and something else. They traded for picks 33, 106, and 180.
So a second and a third.
Correct. No, a second and a fourth.
Second and fourth. 106, yeah. Bad math. Beginning of the fourth.
Okay, so let's keep going in that draft because this is two draft. Fortner. No. And here's the other thing, Tony. Fortner is high, and you always say he plays high. Could he move to guard? No. Muma. What is that? You waste.
Well, I mean, listen. You draft. It only works if you draft a guy like Muma and Lloyd, and you can let Fourier walk this year, because now you save a bunch of money. And you get younger.
Okay, do you let him walk?
You can't, because I don't think Muma's shown that. Is he going to play middle linebacker? Are you better with Muma at middle linebacker?
No.
Who's going to get? By the way, who's going to get everyone lined up?
Right.
Well, maybe Ventrell Miller will play. They do have that linebacker on the shelf.
They do.
I mean, and then the rest of that draft, Greg Jr., Monteric Brown might have been the best pick of all of them, and he's not any good. You know, Trayvon Walker's the best pick, but okay, so there you go. Bad draft. Then you go to 2021. That was the Trevor draft in ETN, right?
Well, and ETN's a good player, but you and I are both of the school of thought you never draft a running back that early.
No, not the way the game's played nowadays. Okay, so that draft was Trevor, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell.
Who they traded up for also, by the way, ETN. Or no, that was the second pick. Sorry, that was the second pick.
Yeah, is Tyson Campbell worth the 33rd overall pick? No.
I mean, he's a solid corner.
Walker Little. Doesn't play.
Second rounder on the backup.
Cisco.
Starting caliber player. Good pick.
Played good early. After he got hurt, he won the same. Yeah. I don't think he was quite the same player.
Not yesterday. Okay,
then the rest of that draft, gone. And you know how many offensive linemen they picked in that draft, Tony? Walker Little. You know how many defensive linemen they picked in that draft, Tony?
0.
Jay Tufele. Remember him?
Yeah, he was on somebody else's practice squad this year.
Little.
I mean, they didn't in the last couple drafts on the offensive line, they drafted Harrison, Little, and Fortner, correct? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
One plays high, one will be a good quality right tackle, and the other one's a third tackle if you keep your two starters. That's not good drafting.
No, and you can't sustain winning in the era of the cap by loading up on expensive free agents.
No.
It doesn't.
And here's the other thing. When you supplemented your roster with some defensive linemen free agents last year, neither one of those two guys made the team. Remember, they bought those two guys in as free agents and defensive linemen. They didn't make the team. It hasn't been – the roster building, let's just put it out there, has not been good. Okay? We've been hedging and saying it 18,000 different ways. It hasn't been good. And somebody asked me the other day what I would do if I was Shad Khan.
What would you do?
I would make changes. Now, what changes I make, I'd have to sit down and think about it. But when I look at the roster, somebody's got to be held accountable for that. Is it a good NFL roster? No.
Yeah.
I mean, the two Pro Bowlers, and if you want to count the deep snapper, aren't they from the last regime, both of them?
Yes. Let me ask you, Pete, based on everything you said, I'm going to say something I don't think I actually believe, but I'm going to put it out there. Based on what you're saying.
This ought to be good.
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
Based on your saying, do you let Josh Allen go and say we're just going to invest offensively and make a bet that Trevor's the guy because we're going to be we have some salary cap challenges And we got it. And if our bet is right, a year from now or 2 years from now, we're going to have to pay the quarterback. And we need to build an offense around him, an offensive line. And as much as we love Josh, we're not going to tie that much money up in the cap. Because what you're saying, and I'm not sure I'm on the same page as you, Pete, but what you're saying is this team's going to be no better. It's going to be a middle of the pack, maybe fight in a division that
is better. That will be better.
But we'll fight to, have a chance to win the division, but is not an upper echelon team.
Correct.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
And
by the way, is C.J. Stroud better than Trevor Lawrence right now?
If you were to ask the entire country, everyone but Jaguar fans, maybe some Jaguar fans,
the Jaguar fans would say, because right now he played better than him.
Yeah, they would say yes.
By the way, if you did move on from Josh, that would be another first-round pick that didn't make it to a second contract for the Jaguars. That list
I don't think you move. I don't think you
do,
Jay.
No chance.
But Tony, if you did move away from it, what are you talking about doing to fix the take? What are you doing for the offense? If you went and pay T. Higgins, that ain't going to take this team to the next level.
That's the problem, Pete. And so I would not. I would sign Josh, and I would just say, listen, I'm going to go invest. Here's the thing. Let's just call it what it is, Pete. You have to draft better.
Okay, but that's the thing. What over the course of the last 3 years has given you any indication that their draft will fix what this roster is ailing their roster? There's nothing. There's no confidence that that's going to happen at all. None.
Pete, I did it. I went through the other day. Actually, this was probably a month ago. And I went through the roster, and I want your opinion, and said, how many guys on this team are starting caliber players who were drafted by the organization?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And then I went and I said, how many are impact players that were drafted by this organization?
Also another good one.
So and then by comparison,
let's just go through the offense real quick. We can do this quickly.
Okay.
Starting caliber players on offense: Trevor Etienne, Cam, and Anton Harrison.
That were drafted by the organization.
Drafted by the organization.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
4.
Right.
You can't say Brenton Strange at this time. It's too early.
Okay.
Right.
You could make an argument, because I do believe that Walker Little would start on half the teams in this league.
But he's not for this one.
Okay, but you have so let's just say 4, maybe 4.5. I give you Walker Little, but 4. How many starting caliber defensive players have been drafted by this organization? Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker is a starting caliber all day long. Tyson Campbell,
Devin Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd, that's 5. And I'm going to make a bet on
Johnson.
On the
safety.
Antonio Johnson. He was a late round pick. That'll end up being a good pick for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's say I'll give you 6. And I would even give you a 7 prior to Devon Hamilton being hurt, because he was playing good football last year.
But then you go to like.
Okay, so let's say it's somewhere between 10 and 12.
Right.
Starting cut, that's 10 or 12. Now, I'm not putting all on Trent, because that was go back to Dave Caldwell years too. So then let me ask you a question, Pete. So let's say it's 10 to 12.
Right.
How many impact players, game-changing players, have been drafted by this organization?
Well, I guess you could say Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I still think Trevor. Most people don't.
I'm in the Trevor camp.
Well, the statistics this year said Cam Robinson was that big of a difference maker for them.
And you know what? But this is why I'm not going to put Cam there.
Yeah.
Because to be an impact player, don't you have to at least be a Pro Bowler one time in your career?
I don't know. You're making the parameters.
Yeah, he's not an impact player.
Okay.
He's just a good, steady player.
He's a good player. I don't want to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I still believe that Cam is a Pro Bowl quality player, but he has to do it for a year, 17 games.
That's it, though. That's it. How about ETN? Do you count him? Yeah. At one point he was. One point he was leading the league.
Yeah.
I'll give you ETN.
He was up there.
That's it. That's it. And then when you go through the 49ers roster.
Oh, boy.
But hold on. Before we go to 49ers.
Yeah, we need to get to a break, too, guys, real quick here.
Pete, that's the problem.
Correct. Bad drafting is the problem.
Hey,
You have to draft better.
Ross Matisic is going to a Pro Bowl. Does he count?
Does not count.
Okay,
No.
We're back in a moment. Let's keep it real. When we come back, the Jaguars are out of the playoffs. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Plenty to dissect today. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Jaguars at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you've got the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change. And mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. That's Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. We're no stranger to a Jacksonville winner, and while a Jacksonville winner may send a shiver down some people's spine, there's a certain breed here for whom frosty winters warm their hearts. Built for the warriors of winter, Dunkin' Iced Coffee is here all season long. 'Cause when the going gets cold, the cold get going. They're not scared to get their hands a little icy, because that first sip of Dunkin' is worth it, and so is every sip after, until the cup is empty and the heart is full. This winter, be a warrior. Go Dunkin' Iced or go home. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hey Florida, this is Luke Fortner, center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We all know the rush of a good game, but there's no winning with aggressive driving on our roads. It's all about strategy and control. Embrace the space with the driver in front of you, go the speed limit, and use that blinker. These are the moves that make us all champions of the road. Target Zero is our game plan for safer roads and is a testament to our teamwork and dedication. Join me and let's get everyone home safely every single day.
At Ameris Bank, we're with you. We asked our team what that means to them.
We're with you means we have a partnership.
It's a relationship. We're here for the long haul.
We have a solution for each and every person that chooses to bank with Ameris.
When you're starting your first checking account, starting your own business, buying a home.
Personally, commercially, corporately, whatever needs you have, we take great care of our customers.
We're with you.
We're with you.
We're with you.
Learn what it means for you at amerisbank.com/withyou. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Monday after the season, and JP Shadrick with Tony Boselli and Pete Prisco after a Jags loss. 9-8 record, not good enough to make the postseason for the Jaguars. And now time for Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients, award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. Well, the last segment kind of led us into this. The Jaguars, officially today, the league put out the early part of the 2024 NFL Draft first round order. The Jaguars have the 17th pick in the first round of the 2024 draft. And Draft talk is here way too early. We always try to not talk about that.
Is it too early?
No, it's time now, I think, Pete. What position, if you were drafting, Pete, would you pick?
Offensive line, like Tony said.
Interior guy.
That's a little high for an interior. I'd probably go interior defensive lineman if I could.
I am drafting the best offensive lineman or defensive lineman on the board. And he better be big, and he better be nasty. I'm drafting the biggest, most physical offense or defensive lineman on the board at 17.
You know, Tony, it's funny you say that because I just looked at the 49ers. They drafted Aaron Banks, who's their 6'4", 330-pound guard that plays next to Trent Williams in the second round. They drafted the right guard, who's 6'5", 315 pounds, in the fourth round, and they drafted the right tackle, who's not a big guy, but he's 6'6", 305, plays physical, in the fifth round.
Wow.
But they always took shots on linemen each year.
And you look at their D-line, Bosa, Armstead. They missed with
Kinlaw, but he plays. He starts.
Kinlaw. They missed with Solomon Thomas. He's gone. You know where they spend free agency? They went and got a game changer in Hargraves. They went and got the Broncos to pay for Gregory. They went and got a rental for the cheap and the kid from Chase Young.
And think about it.
And
they
so
didn't even have a draft last year, really, because they gave away all those picks with the Trey Lance botching.
Well, and then look at, they hit on Greg Kittle, fourth rounder, Deebo Samuels, second rounder.
And then all the linebackers were in the later. Greenlaw and
Fred
Theodore Lenore the corner was taken in the fifth round. Hafunga was taken in the fifth round. Ayuk was a first round pick. But yeah, Greenlaw and Fred Warner. That's where you build your draft. And then when those guys come up, they're cheap for a long time, and then if they're stars, you pay them. If not, you let them go out the door and you replace them with somebody else.
Guess what? You keep on drafting them.
Right. It's to me, the bad drafting has crippled this franchise.
Pete, go look at the last decade of drafting.
Yeah. Not good.
The last decade.
When was the last guy that came from nowhere to become a Pro Bowl type player?
Telvin Smith.
What round was he taken? He was taken pretty high.
Fourth or fifth. Wasn't he a fourth or fifth round pick?
Yeah, he was a fourth or fifth round pick.
Yeah, that's probably the last one, right?
But that was one.
If Antonio Johnson becomes a player I think he can become, and I liked him. He was on my team of guys I like better than most people last year. He will be one.
But Pete, how many guys in the last 10 years have they drafted that were Pro Bowl players?
The funny thing about this whole thing, they were telling people before the season they thought they had 10 quality offensive linemen that could start for every team in the league. I don't know what they saw.
I never saw it.
Neither did I.
I never understood the bet that Ben Barch was going to come back when he wasn't very good before he hurt his knee and coming off a knee injury, and you're counting on him to be your starting left guard.
He's now in San Francisco. He'll probably end up starting for them down the road.
I didn't understand the Fortner that, he's going to get bigger and stronger. Okay, but is he going to
still play high?
And I didn't understand,
the way he plays reminds me of a center from yesteryear.
Yeah, that guy was more physical.
He would get in the middle of stuff, yeah. But that guy played high too.
Yeah.
There you have it. Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. We've had an hour and a half of Keeping It Real already. We'll come back with Fanatics fan questions. That should lighten the mood. on this post-mortem day after the Jaguars' loss in Tennessee. And they're out of the playoffs. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues, to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gate's frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour on a Monday afternoon, final show of the season. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. The second hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. And it's time for the Fanatics fan questions of the day. Jags fans, gear up at fanatics.com with all the latest Jags styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. For the final time this year, we put the cat signal out on X, and here are the best posts we've come up with. At JBS Inslee, could Derrick Henry be a Jaguar in the future?
No.
No.
Why not?
I mean, what do you want to go get an aging running back for?
Yeah. I mean, I love Derrick Henry. He's a hometown kid. I mean, if he wants somebody...
and he's been a star in this league, and he's been a great player. But yeah, for veteran minimum, if he wants to come be a part of it, yeah, why not?
But someone will pay him more than that. I mean, but not for what he'll get. I wouldn't. And does he fit the way that Doug wants to play?
Right. If they're talking about, you're talking about offensive line and getting more physical in the middle and all that, well, that's Derrick Henry, right?
But Derrick's lineup 8 yards deep, inside outside zone, downhill. I mean, And if you watch Derrick Henry all year, he lost.
He wasn't the same guy. He's not the same guy.
He just found it against us.
He certainly
By the
did.
way, just a little FYI, the third highest rated 49er player on Sunday was offensive player was Ben Barge.
Wow. How about that? Good for Ben. Good for Ben. I like Ben. All right, next question. At still a Jags fan. Tony, why did the players say they were looking for a spark? Is that something normal players do? They're professionals. That should be enough.
I think what they mean by that is they were looking for a play or something to change the momentum. And not that they weren't emotional or weren't trying or anything like that, but things start going the wrong way on you, and sometimes you just need a big play, someone do something, a ball bounce your way, whatever. I think that's what they were saying. They weren't saying, we needed someone to come give us a rah-rah speech or say something. It was just like, when this team was sliding the wrong way.
Are you talking about in that game or period?
I think they're talking about overall is what they
they
talked
kept
about
saying that
in the locker room today. Hey, we needed
all
that.
But in that game, they got a spark when Cisco had the interception, and they went run, throw a dump for 4 yards, and now you're in third down and you have to go on fourth down. Instead of that, there's no aggression there. You get that turnover, you got to go bang down the field and take a shot.
Yeah, if it's over the length of the losing streak, I mean, that's where someone's got to step up. It's leadership. It's like, hey, enough's enough. Let's go. Practice harder. Practice cleaner. Start a fight in practice.
I was going to say, do they have enough, for lack of a better term, jerks on the team? You know what I mean? That are those kind of guys?
JP, it's unfair for me to say I'm not around the team enough in the locker room and everything else to understand the full culture. You'd probably have a better sense of that, being in open locker rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to a practice since training camp. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Tom Coughlin was a rigid taskmaster, went too far probably at times. Is Doug Peterson the opposite of that? Is there some happy medium in between the two of them?
I don't know, Pete.
They look like me, like they get fat and happy for one, and that their fundamentals go out the window at times when they start winning. It's almost like, okay, we won, we've arrived, now we don't need to do all the things that we did to get here. And that somewhat goes on to the head coach.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on what Doug, how he talks to the team and kind of that, because we're not around it. I mean, JP's around it more than any of us.
And I'm not even around that. Nope, none of us are.
Well, no, but I wasn't in your team meetings and stuff, but I knew what Coughlin was doing.
But didn't we have and I'm not speaking to this team, but I'm going back to our team. We had a bunch of guys that had a little bit of an edge to them.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Are there edgy guys? That's a better word.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of edgy guys on this team.
We had got even like Logs. Logs was like in those early years, he's a little bit of a jerk.
Yes, he was. He had an attitude.
And then you had the flip side of that. You had a veteran like Clyde Simmons who kind of, there was just, then we had a good mix of young guys and
that's just it. There's not a real good mix of that around this team.
2017 was filled with those kind of guys, right? I mean, you want edgy guys. That defense in 17 had it in spades.
But it also had a bunch of veterans on it too.
That's right. But it didn't last long. It blew up because they were over the edge a lot in the second year.
Well, and some of them were peaking, and then it went right off the ledge.
That's right.
Right. I think also it's hard for me to answer that question, JP, because at the end of the day, there has to be some internal competitive drive that
Right. I'm with you. I've always believed that.
Drives the individual.
You just hate the losing so much that the next week you show up, you're going to do everything in your power and everything they want you to do to make sure, and even more, to make sure you win the next week. That's That's why I've always been a big believer in internal motivation. If I can't get myself to the point where I'm ready to play, then something's wrong with me. If I'm not going to do the extra work that week, something's wrong with me. And I think they've lost sight of that. I really do. I think when they got to 8-3, we saw it over the course of the last couple of years. When they had a big win, sometimes they come back and have a bad loss. That to me speaks that they don't put the work in. And all the busts in the secondary and the missteps on the run fits and everything else, that just shows up of no preparation.
Like, I can't speak. Let me speak to. I think losing Kirk hurt this team a lot offensively, because Kirk's that guy that's like, he's not, I'm not saying he's an edgy guy, but he has that like, whenever I watch, he has an internal competitive, no doubt about it, but he also has that calming kind of influence. Like, everything's like going to be all right. Like, I was like whenever I remember, like, even early in the season when they weren't playing, like, they had a 2-game losing streak, like, Kirk would talk, he's got that sense, like, all right. Like, he's like, all right, we'll be all right. Like, he had that.
Right, but and I'm going to say something here, because I think Trevor Lawrence is a pro's pro. I think he gets it in the way he thinks and talks after games. He's a pro's pro. I think he needs more of an edge on the field. In terms of, he's tough as nails. Don't get me wrong. Him playing through all the stuff he played through is amazing. I'm talking about the Marino mentality on the field. That's what he needs.
I'm going to push back a little. I'm not saying you're wrong there. I'm going to push back to the overall conversation we're having. Here's what also happens when maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And maybe this team might not be that good. They're not very good at the line of scrimmage. And when that happens, you know what you do as a player, as sometimes coaches, everyone? You start looking for a reason why. Oh, we needed a spark. We needed this. Or it was this. It might just be you're not talented enough. It might not just be like, this is who you are.
But like, you go to the Cleveland game. Cleveland's a playoff team. They should have won that game. They had, how many busts did they have that day? Wide open busts. That's bad. That's bad practicing, not putting your work in.
But that's who you are. Bill Parcells, remember the famous Bill Parcells?
Yeah, you are what you are.
You are who what your record says you are.
Yeah.
That's who this team is. It's a 500 team. We're just over 500 because there's 17 games.
Let's get a couple more questions in. At Hodari11, I don't think Peter King will ever listen to Pete again when it comes to the Jags. Will there be an apology and a case of Undavi wine sent to him? Great show. Wish you all the best.
Well, he can't make his own damn mind up? That's his problem. I mean, look, I'm the idiot that had him in the Super Bowl. I don't even think Peter King put him in the Super Bowl, did he? Or did he follow me on that?
Didn't you talk him into it? Like, you were talking.
I told him why I had him in the Super Bowl because of the schedule and how I thought it would be an easy schedule. And lo and behold, the division was better than I thought it would be.
Well, and the
AFC North.
AFC North is pretty dang good too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, look, bottom line is I overestimated a lot of things about this football team.
Well, by the way, it doesn't get any easier next year. You got the same division now, and you got to play the NFC North. You got the Lions.
Yep.
You got the Packers.
The Bears are going to be better. Yeah. The Bears got better.
Right.
Things will probably have Cousins back.
Right. Yeah, that's not an easy road either.
And
this is the year they had the NFC South.
Yeah. Well, then you're going to play a second place schedule because you're second in the division. So you'll have who will you have? You have the Raiders, I think. You'll have the Dolphins, and you'll have the Browns.
It's not going to be easy, and they're not. And right now, because I know this is our last show of the year on the paper, they're not going to be better than they were this year. My opinion.
Mike DeRocco, by the way, had yesterday the 24 opponents are set at home: Texans, Colts, Titans, Patriots, Jets, Packers, Vikings, Browns. Those are all the home games. Away, Texans, Colts, Titans, and then the Bears, Lions, Dolphins, Raiders, Eagles, and Bills. That's
a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
They might be drafting first next year in 2025.
Oh, boy. Hey, let's get one more question.
Hey, we got to go to Vegas next year, baby.
Yeah, that's right. And not do anything except sit in the hotel room. At J. Haracharchi, does Doug need to get back in the lab with this offense and how Trevor fits into it?
Me personally, yes.
JP, what was the overall tone of Doug's press conference today? I didn't get it because I was on the plane.
He didn't. Yeah, he was still with Press Taylor, right? That was going to be. He's not doing anything there. It sounds like.
Well, they wanted him to get rid of Press Taylor in Philadelphia, and he wouldn't get rid of him.
Right, and then he was very cautious.
Didn't he say something about? I saw something on Twitter about calling out the turnovers, almost like he was blaming the quarterback.
Well, I mean, he was like second in the league in turnovers or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Josh Allen turns the ball over all the time, but you know what Josh Allen does? They allow him to come out from underneath them.
But he said something about the offensive line, JP.
I'd have to go back and look at the thing.
Okay.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
It was a 30-minute press conference. My bad. I mean, yeah.
Well, no. I put you on the spot. I mean, listen, Doug's an offensive guy. He's gonna get involved. I don't think he was not involved this year, by the way. I mean, he's the one calling the plays into the quarterback. He's on the sideline. He's the coach in his ear. He's involved with the whole process. I don't think Doug sits around.
Yeah, I think he was involved in it more than he leads on to, and that's not good, by the way, because if that's the end result, then maybe they need to go get another guy to run the offense.
He did. Going through the transcript here early, he was talking about injuries and the left side of the offensive line, especially, and the change there, and the continuity was more. A lack of continuity was more of the issue than it was.
But they never blame the center. Never. They always say he's a good player, good player, good player. Is he a good player?
No.
He actually talked about Fortner today, though. He said, we ask a lot of Luke. He handles things extremely well. He's had to go against some pretty good tackles, interior linemen as well, and he's held up pretty well. Continued to work on strength and different things like that, but it's a good group of guys. That is, you're talking about that whole draft class. So.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Tony, I can fix this team real quickly on the offensive lines. Get a Marcus Stroud and a John Henderson and a Michael Cheever in his prime. How about that? Would that work?
Yep.
We're back in a moment. Those are the Fanatics fan questions.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't want to beat up Fort, but I disagree with Doug on that one.
Back in a moment. Final thoughts for the season ahead, and get ready for a good time. Grab your hats while you're at it. Everbank Stadium welcomes country music legend George Strait with Chris Stapleton and Little Big Town, May 11th. Tickets on sale. Visit everbankstadium.com. This Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Jaguars at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you've got the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change. And mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. That's Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy?
Plus, when you buy or lease from Land Rover Jacksonville, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities Program with complimentary loaners, car washes, our cafe, and much more, all at no charge.
Welcome back. Final moments of Jaguars Happy Hour for the season, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Well, I'm here. Pete Prisco and Tony Boselli virtual today in the final week of the season. For 10 years, Dream Finders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jags. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory, and go Jags. Well, now what? I mean, off season's here now. What, man, this stinks, Pete.
Well, look, it stinks because obviously we've pointed to the reasons why it stinks, and now they have to go try and fix it, and that's the roster building part of the job. You have to fix your mistakes. You have to get out from underneath them. You have to find replacements. I just think that drafting. Take a look at the Rams, okay? Look at the Rams. The Rams are going to have maybe the offensive rookie of the year in Puka Nacua, and probably should have the defensive rookie of the year in Kobe Turner. Kobe Turner was a 3rd-round pick. Puka Nacua was a 5th-round pick. Okay? They drafted another defensive lineman young in the 3rd round. He starts, and I think he has 7 sacks on the season. Good drafting teams fix their issues. Look where the Rams are right now. Aside from Aaron Donald, can you name 5 players on that defense? No. You go to the offensive side of the ball. Their offensive line was a mishmash of guys this year, but you know what? They played really well this year.
That left tackle, I don't even know his name.
Alaric Jackson.
Where did he come from? He's a good
Iowa.
player.
He was an Iowa player. In fact, he was on my team when he came out that year. He was a guy I liked, and he was a backup on their roster. He played him at guard a couple times, and then they moved him to left tackle this year, and he's done a nice job. Really nice job.
I saw we played someone right after he played against Myles. I think the Rams played Cleveland.
Yes.
He did a good job against Myles Garrett.
Okay, and the guy playing next to him is exactly what you want in Jacksonville. Steve Avila. You know that kid from TCO? Big, physical, power guard, left guard. The right guard, Noteboom plays over there. They have, Havenstein plays right tackle, big, physical right tackle. I mean, and it works. They've drafted well. And they tore that thing to shreds, remember? Yeah. They tore it to shreds.
Yeah, they thought, the big question, remember, going in the last offseason, is Stafford going to want to stick around for a rebuild? Well, that rebuild took exactly all of one offseason.
And the amazing thing about it, before the season, I do my power rankings before the season. I go back and mock myself with my last group of power rankings. I had the Rams at 31.
Wow. Wow. And they're playing this weekend.
And they'll give Detroit all they want.
Yeah, let's get into that. The playoff schedule this weekend and super wild card weekend, the NFL is calling it. And a pair of games on Saturday. The Browns, the 5 seed, visit the 4 seed Houston Texans. This would have been the Jaguars spot. That's at 4:30. Then the 6 seed Dolphins and the 3 seed Chiefs. That's at 8 o'clock. Who do you like in those?
I like the Browns. I think Joe Flacco in the playoffs is going to start playing like Joe Flacco did in the old-time playoffs with the Ravens. And then the other game, the Chiefs Miami's just decimated by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I think they might be the perfect tonic for what else the Chiefs offense. The problem is it's supposed to be 0.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of the weather and because of that Chiefs defense, and, the Dolphins have injuries on offense, too. Now, they might get Waddle back and Mostert back this week, but are they going to be 100%? Tyreek Hill's beat up. And that Chiefs defense is really good. I think the Chiefs win. I like the Browns as well.
All right, Sunday, the 7 seed Steelers against the 2 seed Bills in Orchard Park, 1 o'clock kick. Packers, Cowboys, a 7-2 game in the NFC at 4:30, and then the Rams, Lions that you guys spoke of, the 6-3 game is the 8 o'clock game, so that's a busy day.
Pittsburgh has no business being in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin has done one of his best coaching jobs of all time. That team's bad. Miles Jack is making plays at linebacker for him. He retired.
Yeah, I did.
I'll be in Buffalo. I'm doing that game. Actually, I got to book my flights today. So I'll be in Buffalo. I think the Bills win that. I think the Packers, give the Packers credit. They got a quarterback again. Jordan Love can play.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can. I thought he could play. That was I picked the Packers to go to the postseason, and all the pressure's on Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott in that game.
You bet.
The Packers go in there and go let it rip.
Yeah. And then I think the Lions win. I think they get physical, and I think they win.
I worry about their defense a little bit. You got to admit, Tony, the way this season has gone, we're going to see a team come from nowhere and get hot and win. So you got to figure out who's it going to be. It has to be one of those teams.
I just can't pick against my boy Brunell, so that's why I'm picking.
I know you can't.
And then Monday night, the Eagles and the Bucks in Tampa. Monday Night Football in the playoffs. Fire the cannons at Raymond James for the Eagles and the Bucks. I wasn't ready for that 8 o'clock kick.
You really weren't prepared for that, JP.
I didn't expect the music to come on.
There's my upset of the weekend. I think the Bucks beat the Eagles.
I think they beat the Eagles as well. I think the Eagles are a mess. How quickly you go from there to there. And they were the number 1 seed at one point, cruising along, and they never played really that well, though, even leading up to that.
There you have it. Hey, a couple minutes left here, guys. It's been a pleasure doing this program again each and every Monday with you and hearing your guys' takes on the Jaguars and the league as a whole. And here we are, another season in the books.
Yeah, let's hope the next time we're on the air, Fred Taylor's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I mean, I think he has a real chance, Pete, because I've always thought once he gets in the room, then you have to discuss what he really did and who he was. Only guy over 11,500 yards not in the Hall of Fame. 3rd highest rushing per attempt in the history of this league.
And one of only 3 guys with 2,500 rushing yards who averaged 4.6 per carry.
And he is not – there's very few players who've ever played the game that could do what he could do from a power and speed and elusiveness. There's to me, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm pulling hard for him.
Me too. And I've sent out a letter. I said, yes, I promised you guys I wouldn't be coming after Tony Boselli, but I lied.
So I'm pulling for Freddie T.
Me too.
Yeah, this was a weird year. This is the least amount of Mondays we've ever done because we had Christmas and New Year's off. So
yeah, we weren't able to really blast them as they went down the toilet.
No, we weren't. We'll just have to watch Twitter to do that, I guess, Pete.
I was expecting we were going to be doing playoffs. That didn't work out either. Nope. So great year, JP. Awesome job as usual hosting and putting up with Pete and I and all the guys in the back. Just what a great year. It was awesome.
One year, they'll actually say, let's do this year round.
Tony, Pete, JP, Happy New Year.